Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to ASTC. So, in this video, we will be starting off with lecture 20.7 inverse functions. So, earlier on, at the beginning of this chapter, we studied a concept related to functions, that functions are number machines, right? So, what happens is that, let's say that this is a function, all right, and my function is f of x. Over here, we input some values which are x values. These are called the domain of the function, and the output that we get, these are the y values, which are called the range of a function. So range of f of x. All right. So applying that similar concept over here, let's say that we have a function f of x equals 2x plus 5. Now, if let's say that my input is x, now what is happening to x, like what operations are we applying on x so that I can get the function 2x plus 5. So let's take a look. First of all, I'm multiplying x by 2. Okay, so that's the first change that I'm applying to x. The output that I get is 2x. After that, I'm adding 5 into it. So now my final output will be 2x plus 5. So you can say that this is one big machine, okay, that has been split into two processes, to process 1, and this is process 2. So this is the function, right, that I plugged in the value of x. When what do I get as the output? That is 2x plus 5. All right. Now, if I want to find the inverse of the function, so what does that mean? Now I'm going to input my x from this side, okay, and whatever mathematical operations we have applied over here, I'm just going to inverse it. So suppose that here we have added 5, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 5. So let's take a look. This is my input, okay, x goes in, I subtract 5 from it, so my output will be x minus 5. All right, now what happened over here? It was multiplied by 2. So now I'm going to take the inverse of it, the opposite function, which is dividing by 2. So this expression will now be divided by 2. Therefore, my output is going to be x minus 5 upon 2. All right, so what we can see over here is that, first of all, my input is now on the opposite end. So from over here it was from left hand side, but from this side it is going to start from here. All right, then this is your x values. This is your x, whatever operation was applied over here, I'm going to do the inverse of that. I'm going to do the opposite of that. So here we added 5, I'm going to subtract 5. Here I've multiplied by 5, I'm going to divide by 2. Sorry, this was multiplied by 2, so this will be divided by 2. All right, so therefore my inverse function, which is represented as this, so we will say the inverse function of x will be x minus 5 upon 2. Okay, so the inverse function of f of x equals 2x plus 5 is equal to this, and this is the notation that we use to express. So this is very similar to, let's say, sine inverse that we have already studied, right, or tan inverse or cos inverse. So this is similar to that concept. So the inverse function will be f inverse and then x minus 5 upon 2. Now, let's take a look at a concept, that what happens to their domain and range. So before I move to the inverse function, let's talk about the original function, and let's talk about its domain and range. So let's say that I've applied these 4 values. Okay, so these are my x values. So these are the domain values, all right? So once I plug in the value of 1 into my function 2x plus 5, so this becomes 1. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 5, that gives us 7. Similarly, 2 times 3 plus 5, that would be 6 plus 5, that is 11. This would be 2 times 5 plus 7, plus 5, that would be 15. 10 plus 5, 15. And over here we have 2 times 7 plus 5. So that would be 2 times 7 is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. Okay, so here we have the domain values, and each value of domain is mapped exactly onto one value of range. So this is what we call a one-to-one function. Anyhow, but that is not the topic for now. Now what I'm going to do is, because we are taking inverse, right? So you can see over here that when we took inverse of the function, we did opposite of everything, isn't it? So what I'm going to do here is, here we have domain and range. Okay, so whatever range value I have here, I'm going to take that as my domain value. Okay, in the for the inverse function, I'm going to take that as my domain value. Now observe, when I plug this domain value into my inverse function, so what happens here? We have 7 minus 5 over 2, which is 2 upon 2, that is equal to 1. So you can see that this is now the same as the domain of the original function. Okay, let's try with another value. Here we have 11. When I plug in over here 11 minus 5 upon 2, that would be 6 upon 2, which would be 3. So this 3, okay, which is the range of my inverse, is exactly the same as the domain of my original function, and the same concept goes along all the way. Okay, so what can we conclude from here? And also one more thing, if you notice that the range of my original function is the same as the domain of my inverse function. All right, so that's why you can see the blue is the blue matches with this blue, and this red matches with this red. So what can we deduce from this? The first thing that we can say is that the domain of the original function is the same as the range of the inverse function. Okay, the domain of the original function, which is this, is the same as the range of the inverse function, which is this. Okay, the second point is, the range of the original function, which is this, is the same as the domain of the inverse function, which is this. Okay, so these are two statements that you must know, and this is a practical example of understanding that what exactly do we mean by these statements. Okay, now usually whenever we are asked to find an inverse function, we don't have to do this entire process this process flow diagram. Okay, like, because over here this is called a flow diagram, because here we are actually showing the flow of what happens to x step by step, right? And in order to find the inverse, we are doing this method. Okay, but this is not really required for you to do it, this is just for understanding. The method that we used to find out the inverse function of f of x is as follows. There's a four-step process that is involved here. So pay attention. Now f of x is equal to 2x plus 5. The first step is that we replace f of x with y. So instead of f of x, I'm going to write down y is equal to 2x plus 5. And to be honest, these are actually interchangeable. Okay, so that is my first step. Second step is you swap x and y. Okay, what does swap mean? Wherever you have y, write x instead of this, and wherever you have x, write y instead of this. Because again, remember what we are doing, we're trying to find the inverse. So during the inverse, what happens? You switch the things, right? The things become opposite. So x becomes y, y becomes x. Now, the next step is make y the subject of the formula. So your y is actually over here in the middle of this equation, right? So here you have to make this y the subject of the formula. So first step that we're going to do is take 5 to that side. So this becomes x minus 5. And then you need to get rid of this 2. So we'll divide both sides by 2. So therefore, you get y equals x minus 5 upon 2. Now the final step would be to replace this y and bring this back into this notation, except that what we have just found is not f of x, it is the inverse of x, right? So you will replace y with f inverse of x. Therefore, in these four steps, we have actually obtained the inverse function x minus 5 upon 2, which is exactly the same as what we worked out over here using our diagram. All right. Now, so let us uh, okay, I think that that is actually the end, right? So what we're going to do is, in the next video I'm going to start with some practice questions. Okay, so that would they will see we will see some more examples on how we can uh, form an inverse function, and how we can also perform some calculations related to that. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.